Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 99 of the Top Loaded podcast. And this week we are joined by a very special guest with a very special announcement as well. But first of all, he's made it for another week. He's got a 100% score record in 2024. How long will it last? Probably a question for someone else another day. But H, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. I think I need a little award for how many sort of consecutive episodes I've been on at the moment. But we'll save that for another day. Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, Ron. Very well. How are you, mate?
Yeah, no, very well. Like we say, it's not too far away from our London Car Show special and 100th special. No doubt me and Harry B can't wait to get down to Sandown on the Saturday. It'll be a lot of fun. But first of all, we will introduce our very special guest. And before we do actually introduce, obviously this episode is powered by Third Down Displays, your number one stop for everything you need in the card world, from custom card stands to card supplies and grade preparation kits. And the perfect example with the beautiful backdrop, the one and only Chris from Third Down Displays. How are you doing, my friend?
Evening, bud. Yeah, not bad at all. Busy as always, working away, and yeah, ready to let you all know about the unveiling of what is new.
Like we say, it's a lovely announcement we're going to go forward to. And I think when there's lovely bit of news, there's no better place to start. Apart from, has H actually placed any slab mag orders yet in 2024? And if not, why isn't it using TTP10 for 10% off of them?
It's a great question.
It will be the first discount code that I use if and when. I think it's not a case of if, it's when I order
You haven't used your own discount code yet.
Chris, can you use it in person?
Yeah, we can use them at shows.
Well in.
Yeah, so you can use it the Saturday at the London Card Show.
Yeah, exactly. I'll use it in person.
There we go. Well, we'll film that one for record. As he brings out the whole box of slab mags, and you see some poor kid behind crying because he's been looking all day to get another slab mag. But we'll pass the floor over to obviously you, Chris, for the announcement, obviously, on this episode regarding Third Down and what's coming up very soon.
So yeah, basically when we sort of started, best part of 3 years ago now, it was sort of as collectors what we couldn't already get in the UK. And from there we've obviously grown and it's developed into initially the custom stands, and then another big issue that we had and many others had was where do you get certain size mags, certain size top load, especially those that collect different sort of American sports. A lot thicker cards are in those sets. We worked closely with Big H with that, and then sort of took the reins from him coming the last part of last year. And that since then we've been getting a lot of messages of where do you get brake mats from? Where can I get a backboard? Do you guys do these? We uncovered a gem in Daz Mag Sticker Man on Instagram. He sort of helped us do ours, and I know sort of Harry's used him for his mag stickers. He's done stuff for Sports Trading Cards UK. He's done quite a lot, and his work's really good. We worked with him really closely over the last few months, and then sort of he came to us with, I've not got the time to do as much. Would you guys be interested? So from there, we're taking over with that and bringing it all under one roof. So over on obviously on the website, you'll be able to order your stands, your brake mats, your mag stickers, your backboards, all your supplies, and get everything from that one place. We're also bringing in your bubble mailers, your boxes, that sort of stuff, the bits of places where people have got to go here, there, and everywhere to get the stuff. Instead of placing 5 orders with 5 different companies, you can just get them all under one roof.
Yeah, like I say, I think it's a fantastic idea. And I think that's one thing, especially people who've been in the hobby for quite a while, even if they're starting out now, it's very daunting to work out where the best place is to go. And like you say, you was going, set A location for one thing, B for another. And now having it all under one roof. And I know that's one thing you're committed to, is making it easier for the actual hobby collector, because it can be tricky at times. I remember like 2-3 years ago in the pandemic when you couldn't find top loader for the life of you. You couldn't find them. They were going for about £8 a pack sometimes, and that's still crazy to me. But now having this all under one roof, do you feel like it's going to be so much easier for even the new starters as well, that they're going to be able to ask the questions, but also it's all under there. So if they go, oh, actually, you know what, I just want to try this, it's better than paying £5 to £10 postage at 3 or 4 different locations. They can try it and have like, do you think you do like a starter bundle or like something like that for people just starting out as well?
Yeah, so that's one of the things we've got down to do over the next few weeks is get those bundles up on the website and also on his YouTube and on Instagram to have those how-to guides, how to measure a card, how to pack a card that I'm posting out, how to correctly store a card. Those are the questions and the feedback we get quite often. You'll see on social media, we often put up like polls and questions of what would you like to learn in the hobby? What would you like to tell a newcomer? As a newcomer, what would you like to have learned earlier on? A lot of the time, in obviously as collectors, you learn from how you receive things and the deals you do, and it's sort of trying to give that advice and have it readily available for the people coming into the hobby as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I was going to say, now I think a lot more people, I think they took it for granted a bit before, where you spend a lot of money on some of these items of cards or prized possessions that you kind of just used to put in a mag and then, or just a top load, and you put in a case or whatever it is. But now, like I say, with the introduction of stands, stickers for your mags as well, card mats as well. Do you think now people are thinking, actually, no, what, these are expensive assets? Do you find that now that people are also saying, let me show these off as well? I think it looks great for breakers, but now I think it's going more than breakers. For example, for me, I look around now and I go, that's a bit plain. There's no real branding. It's nice to have your brand on it, like in the background with your third down display signage.
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to listing on your eBays, putting on your own Instagrams, if you're breaking on whatnot, anything like that, if you can sort of get your brand out there, it's ideal. In terms of the collector themselves, I think people are wanting to display like what they've spent their hard-earned money on and what they've accumulated over, if it's 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, actually having those on display and showing off obviously those assets, because a lot of people now it's the PC cards that they're wanting to display and that sort of stuff.
As I say, we've had the transition from the 3D stands now to the actual laser printing ones, which are fantastic. Get the detail and light in the background. I've got kind of the evolution in the background of the different stands. So, and then you've obviously now gone to like a podium one as well. So, is it going to be something that you always look to develop, not just the stands, but the other assets as well, as like sticker mags and all that, that when you have more ideas, you put into fruition? And no doubt, a lot of the ideas actually come from people just asking questions as well about, do you do it?
Yeah, so we've just done a new sort of display for Thunderbolt Nick. He's a breaker over on TikTok, does a bit on whatnot, for his sort of booster boxes and blaster boxes to go on there. We're working with a couple of breakers at the minute for sort of a bigger than a stadium shelf. So it's like more tiered, 5 or 6 tiers. Working with a couple on that to get that going, sort of enhance the breaking experience and the aesthetics for them. There's many other little things in the pipeline to come out as and when we can get them worked and get them finished.
Yeah, plenty of ways of tempting all of the collectors, and then start thinking, right, what will look good on that one? What color scheme's going to work well? What stuff can I get printed on it? And no doubt, every time someone buys a card, they're already thinking, oh, what custom stand can I get? What slab mag can I get? And obviously, the perfect transition, I can actually pass over to H now. We're not talking about slab mags. We're going to allow him for one episode, but I'll go pass over to H as he just talks about obviously the 2023 and obviously looking forward to 2024 away. So H, over to you.
Yeah, Chris, I think the first place obviously to start is 2023 as a whole for you guys. Obviously, we can all probably see from a distance, from afar, how successful 2023 was for you from an outsider. But I guess from an insider, from the start of last year to how you finished in December, how was it as a whole? Because I know there's probably a lot going on, a lot sort of you progressed from January to December. So I guess a broad question, obviously, how was 2023 for you guys, and sort of, what sort of, was the outcomes you found going into 2024?
Tiring. No, it was a brilliant year. Sort of at the start of the year, like most businesses and most people do, you sort of right. I want to get to this level. I want to do this. I want to do this sort of thing. And it sort of it grew bigger than we could ever have anticipated last year. Sort of bringing the supplies in, everything with the elements we put down as the making sure it was what we wanted it to be, run it how we wanted to run it. With the if you order before 4 o'clock, you'll get your order dispatched that day on supplies, to allow the customer to have their supplies with them literally the next day. Sort of trying to bring the breakers in, sort of try and not sort of necessarily educate the hobby and the people within it, but sort of be there as a sounding board for them as guidance, so people could feel comfortable messaging us saying, "Oh, I've got this card. Do you know how I should store it? Or do you know what size this is?" And to obviously allow that. The bringing over of Kurtz and Slab Mags really in last year, bringing that American feel over to the English hobby, which is what a lot of people were crying out for. I think we've seen over, especially that last third of last year, the effects Kurtz have had on the people that have been using it, on the people that have had the cars cleaned at shows, the benefits that we've seen from that, especially over on Instagram this last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, the 10s that have been coming back, the cracks that have been an 8 that have come back 9s and 10s, and the one the other day that was a 6 that cracked and came back a 9. They're the stories that you look back and think, oh, that were quite cool. And the stuff you do with certain businesses, the work we did with eBay last year, that we look back on that. And if you'd have told us last January we'd have done all that work with eBay by the end of the year, we'd probably laughed at you. But I think that sort of testament to the amount of hours and the 20 odd shows we did, the miles we covered. And then, yeah, we look forward to starting that mileometer again this year and finding how far we can take it before we get into too much trouble from the missus.
You know, I think you can probably see, particularly like the American products in terms of Kurtz Card Care, and you know, I can probably speak on my behalf for Slab Mags, but just how obviously, you know, the popular they've been, and now they're fully accessible within the UK, which they weren't obviously prior to the start of the year. And I know particularly, you know, I think was it Sunday League Investors brought some sort of a few Slab Mags over at the start, maybe end of 2022. So now obviously having the full stock more or less there at your fingertips that you provide, and obviously Kurtz Card Care, and having seen it obviously in person, I can probably imagine the amount of stress that Ben goes through, obviously dealing with a lot of the cracks and cleaning of some expensive cars, should we say. But yeah, like I said, you know, having a sort of a face there at more or less every single show, you know, you've definitely got the brand out there, the sort of the product that you offer, that, you know, everyone knows that you're that one-stop shop to go to, where you can literally get every single supply you can possibly think of, obviously all in one place. So I guess, you know, looking now into 2024, where have you sort of set a bit of a benchmark to sit here now and say, by the end of the year, we'd like to think we could have done this, that, and the other. Obviously, having taken over now, obviously, or working closely with Daz Mag Sticker Man, obviously, in terms of them, how that's going to progress forward. Where do you see the whole of 2024 sort of planning out, and where sort of would you want to be towards the end of the year?
So the plan is sort of to keep driving it, keep being that trusted face within the hobby. Guide sort of people, sort of the way we all as collectors like to see it go, like putting the actual collecting element of it first. Sort of we're looking at a bit further, sort of more educational bits, in terms of where we want to take with the social media, especially the YouTube channel, in terms of your displays, all that sort of stuff. And then, yeah, looking at, what can we say? Like maybe a couple of light up stands that can go on the wall. Ben loves his little glow up lights. I've just seen him look over at me like, you're gonna get me in more bother. But yeah, some light up stands. He's been on about wanting to do them for a while, so we might unleash him with those light up stands later on into the year. And then sort of trying to bring some more benefits in for people who have trade accounts with us, the breakers and stuff that have those. We're in early communications with a few of the box companies that sell the sealed wax, sort of be able to offer discount codes within that trade membership with us, to allow them to get their stock cheaper, which then in hand should allow them to break the product for cheaper on the backside as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, there's a whole element of, you know, working closely with you guys that offer so many, you know, benefits as such. I guess how important do you think the educational aspect of what you guys are doing is to the hobby? I know we talk education as if like we're back in school, but having that education to be like the size of the cards you need for certain mags, or how to post how to post a certain card out, what sort of packaging do you need, or how should you display cards as such, with some of the wall stands you've got. How important do you think that educational aspect is for not only newcomers in the hobby, but people that have been in the hobby for 2 years still that may not understand certain aspects of the hobby?
I think it's massive, especially for newcomers, and people that have been in it a while that might be slightly unsure on certain things. If maybe they've only ever bought cards for the first 2 years and they've received cards. How many different ways have we received cards through the post? You've got a bit of tape over the top, a team bag over the top, two base cards either side of a numbered card, no sleeves. We've probably each received cards 10 plus different ways. And I think it's one of those, ideally, if there was a sort of a standard out there or a preferred way, it just stops people's names getting sort of dragged through the mud, because effectively they might not feel like they're doing anything wrong. They just didn't know. Whereas if we've all got this place to where we can go, oh, I've just watched this. This is how you can do it. Especially like if you've got a card that's worth $2,000 because you've hit lucky in a break, you want that card to come in the best possible condition. You don't want a 55-point card coming in a 130-point mag and its corner's been smashed, because then your card's not worthless, but it's not the same, and then the breaker ends up in bad light, and no one wants that. So if everything's done sort of following a standard, and that's sort of what we want to be able to show people, that watch these videos, we'll give you an easy guide, which is why every order we send out has a size guide in it. You can come up to us at a show and take a size guide. And yeah, we'll always be there on the other side of the message or the email to help out where we can. If we don't know the size of a card, we'll message one of the breakers that we're close with and use us and ask them, do you guys know what size this is? And often have the answer for you within half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's all about that almost community as such, where you literally can more or less, if you don't have the answer, you'll find the answer out, and you've almost got every aspect of the hobby all in one place, regardless of any sort of outcome. You've got that one place you can go to find out and learn different aspects of the hobby, or any question you've got that may sound like a stupid question. I'm sure there's probably hundreds of accounts out there that are happy to answer any questions, but having that one community where you can answer as many questions as you want. You'll get the answers. If you don't know, you'll ask someone that knows. So it's almost like I said, producing that, or sort of creating that community where you're going to be able to have every single question answered, and you're going to have every aspect of the hobby more or less literally covered under one roof. So yeah, I think the 2024 is going to be probably another new high for you all. I would imagine anyway.
I hope so. That's definitely the plan. I think further to that, quite a few people when they come into the hobby are not shy, but don't necessarily have that confidence to be like, what do I do with this? How do I do this? But if a light comes on in his car, what's the first place we go to? You're straight on YouTube. What does this mean? Are you straight on Google? What does this mean? And effectively, it sort of worked the same, because I know for a fact when I first got into the hobby, I was Googling what size point this card was, or how do I do this? So it's allowing people to get into this hobby that we all love so much. The easiest transition into it.
I mean, it's one of the things. I mean, I still message Ronnie now, like every other day, being like, what do you think the price this card's going to go for? Or what should I do about this? What should I do about that? I mean, I've been doing it for 3 years, and I still message Ronnie every single day and ask him just random questions. So it's one of those things where, as long as you're not afraid to ask these questions, or that think a question is going to be stupid. There's millions of people out, or hundreds of people out there that are going to want to be able to and willing to answer the question for you. So I said, you've literally got everything right there at your fingertips, obviously with yourselves. So there's not really much of a better place to go to, or should I say better people to go to than yourself. So yeah, obviously I'll hand it back over to Ron.
Yeah, I know we referred to earlier that it is near enough. We used to say card show season, but really it's card show 11 months out of the 12. And obviously Ben does work his socks off in there. I just see him staring down at cards all day long on the cleaning, obviously for the grade preparation. How have that side of it gone for you, especially in-person grade preparation at shows? Because we come past and I don't think I ever see him look up. There's always And it's never just a nice 399 card. There's some big ones there that I wouldn't even want to be touching, not alone having to clean up for someone.
I think I'm not getting enough credit here for those slabs I cracked at London last time. You know what I mean? You lads are doing me dirty.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Yeah.
I don't think I witnessed any of these slabs being cracked, though. Did you, Rob?
I think he just gives them to Ben round the corner and goes, "Look, I've done it.
He just stands there buying boxes and buying cards all the time while Ben does the dirty work.
Well, that's Shannon not listening to this episode, then, isn't it? No, so the cleaning and the prep at shows, obviously, yeah, we've seen it. It's definitely taken off more that them last sort of 4 or 5 shows last year. So people sort of like to have a look at it initially, and then they want to see, is there actually any benefits? If I'm spending the money getting these cards cleaned, is there going to be any benefits to it? And then as they've seen the results come back, they've seen, oh yeah, it does work. Obviously, when you come up to us at a show, we'll be as honest as we can be in terms of, do you think it'll work on this card? We'll give you our honest opinion with a yes or a no, or we don't think due to the what's wrong with it, we can work on that. That's if it's whitening, there's very little we can do. If the paint's come off, there's very little we can do. Especially with some of the creases and the dints. And we'll be open and honest with you. We're not gonna take your money if we know we can potentially make that card better. So yeah, and I think the more people have seen that side of it, the more that no, it doesn't work on that card, rather than yeah, of course we can, yeah, we'll do it with anything. I think that helps build the trust in the process as well, and the fact that people have seen it more that last sort of 6 months of the year. They build the trust over seeing it 4, 5, 6 times that it's definitely worth taking up, especially when you see the results come back like we do. We clean all our cards before we send them off, and definitely since the first batch we sent off to the second, the first one without using Kurtz to the second using it, we saw much better results because of it. And I think it's just giving yourself that best chance, especially if you're sending 4 or 5 cards off, to have them all prepped correctly, to go off to PSA looking as shiny as possible.
Oh, 100%. And I've had a few questions about Kurtz card care, because obviously it's not just the more modern cards. Obviously, it's a much harder thing with vintage, especially there's some things that you won't be able to recover in terms of, like, if something's been folded in half in terms of creases. But Kurtz card care can be used on vintage cards as well.
Yeah, used properly. You've got to be a bit more careful, obviously, with vintage. It's much better to, and it's easier to get more battered vintage to practice on as well. So yeah, especially the stuff that's quite old. It's that initial sort of build-up of muck over the 10, 20, 30 years the card's been around. You can get that off quite easily. And just in that, it's giving a much better appearance, even if you're not grading it, even if you're just keeping it and you have no intention of grading it, just so it looks best in your case, or however you're displaying it.
As I say, because I've been it before where I was going through pre-grading, I was looking through it, and like you say, you notice something and you go, a lot of people I think do the same thing. They have a look at a card like this and go, oh, it's got a line on it, I won't grade it. Or I'll either sell it or I'll just keep it in the case. But now even I would recommend to someone, even if it's not your top end card or your favorite card, find a card with a similar mark. Obviously take it to you guys or even buy the kit themselves online. You say, just do it on a few base cards and stuff like that. And then once you get the hang of it, you can start to move up until the better ones. But obviously, if it's one of them big cards, like one of my ones, I think it's just better to give it to you guys and let the professionals take over. But
yeah,
gotta say, print lines are very hard to determine. So just ask you at a show.
Yeah, some of them are a nightmare. So because we deal with both sort of Pokemon, the TCG world and the sport world, we've got quite good links with sort of quite big collectors within them markets as well. So if we're not sure on that sort of card, and we've got a really good relationship with Kurt, that we can message those guys and get that information as well. But 100%, like, it just gives you that best option. On some cards you're umming and ahhing about, it's sort of perfect, really. Ben, the beautiful assistant that stayed out of shot, just brought a couple over that we can show. So that was sort of, it came initially, we prepped it as a 9, came back at 10. We got that one from a 6 to a 7. And if you remember back at London a couple of shows ago, the old vintage Stanley was brown and had gunk all over it. We managed to get him back a 6. And at the time, Aaron sort of looked at us like, you can't claim that, to send that off. And yeah, poor Ben scrubbed away, and now he's on mopping duty at home. And as well as that, we've sort of just launched the centering tools as well for those. As much as we all trust his eyes, it's always better to have that guide there to sort of assist us within that. So we've got some of them on the website, and yeah, we plan on bringing more of them in as well, just for that full package. Because if you're going to the extent of cleaning your cards, you might as well double check that centering.
Yeah, I was going to say, no matter how many times I look at a card, I can pick the same card up twice, and I think one time I go left to right, and then the next time I think it's right to left. So like these tools are so handy, and like I say, you just give yourself that best shot at getting the highest potential grade, because sometimes you can look at it and be, especially with some of the parallels, if there's not a border around it, especially like Sapphire Selections, for example, is one, some of the color blasts as well, it's very hard to judge the center. It's like you say, once you learn about the set, some of them sets become more obvious, but they don't make it easy on some of them cards, whether it's centered or not, because there's no clear border to it.
Yeah, especially with some of the sets where the paper stock's a bit thicker and you can tell the front and the back of it being printed separately, and the front might be spot on, but the backs are 2, and or the other way around, where the back's spot on and the front's off. So yeah, the centering tools are good. Since we got them in, we sort of used them ourselves, and then we managed to source some for the website, and now we're looking at obviously producing some ourselves. So yeah, it's all about having it all there for the collector to sort of make the most out of their collection.
100%. And like I say, obviously for people who do want to look at it all, it's all on the website. But did you do like a collection as well? Like if someone, say for example, for a London card show, if someone wanted to say, oh, I want to get a custom stamp, but is it possible to pick it up at shows? Do you do like a click and collect option as well to make it easier for people?
Yeah, so once we've obviously launched all this new stuff tomorrow over on the website, the click and collect will be going live for the upcoming shows. Obviously we've got Manchester this weekend, so it's a bit late for that, but if you want to drop us a message, we can certainly see what we can do. Supplies and slab marks, skirts for click and collect, no issue at all. Custom stuff, it's probably cutting it a bit fine. But yeah, we'll be launching the click and collects for London, for Yorkshire, for Southampton, and for the Sports Card Social, which is sort of over the next month or 5 or 6 weeks.
It's gonna. Oh, that sounds like it's all going to blur into one that I probably did at the end of life. But I've got to say, you did actually cross the water and obviously go to Europe for a show. Did see the lovely Christmas markets you did venture into at Germany. How was that?
So it only got us into a little bit of trouble. Yeah, so we lost a suitcase on the way over. That was excellent. So that sort of, the whole plan was to do the card cleaning, to show off the stands and do all that there. Unfortunately, the bag with all the cleaning kits in stayed in Manchester as we went to Dusseldorf. So it turned into stands and actually attending a show where we sold cards. Novel experience
with a showcase. God.
Selling cards and not even in the right language as well. What an experience.
Honestly, it was so much fun doing that side of it as something a bit different. And the fact that we both do NFL and there's a lot of NFL collectors over there in Germany, it worked pretty perfect, to be honest. So it was a great weekend over there, sort of meeting the Europeans, seeing the way they do stuff, seeing sort of the way that they collect. Definitely the collectors market out there is so strong. We visited the B Brothers shop on the Saturday night, so we were all with like the hobby box. There was us, there was Ghost, the Soccer Cards United lads, and then we went out with food and then went to the B Brothers shop. And if you ever get the opportunity to go there, it's unreal. We ended up getting a couple of bits of art each because obviously we needed that for the kids. I got a little Simba Well, not it's not that little. It's bigger than A3. But I got a Simba. Ben got a Flat for Nash and a Pikachu. Print. They're awesome. But the shop itself, he's got like the hoverboard from Back to the Future in like a display case. It's genuinely brilliant if you get a chance to go there. And yeah, we plan on venturing to 1 or 2 European shows hopefully this year as well.
I was going to say it's a bit different than racking up the mileage in the van on. You're probably, I would say now, probably you're stuck in traffic on every single M&A road possible.
I mean, I think I've completed them. I've got a favourite service station.
Oh, gotta hear this one.
Yeah, Leicester Forest North, brilliant. You can sit.
Good.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. Choose between your KFC or your Burger King or your Subway. Nice little Starbucks on the way out. Yeah, it's a good, strong service station. Ben's not always a fan when I'm like, no, we'll push it to there. And he's like, I want food now. No, Ben, wait.
I could just imagine. I think we should get a GoPro in the van as well. That'd be a great series for the YouTube channel.
Oh, the road trip. That'd be unbelievable.
He's literally sat over there shaking his head, and I'm thinking it's going to be like Max and Paddy, the Yorkshire version.
And then he gets to like, an hour and a half in, and he realizes Chris has left half the stand back in the warehouse.
Just bleep out the next 5 minutes. But like I say, obviously now looking forward to all the card shows. That's all coming up. Any words of advice for anyone who's obviously might be coming down to their first show, it might be their 5th show, like what you actually would say to them, just because it can be a bit daunting as well if they're going by themselves potentially. Yeah,
definitely. If you've got obviously people you speak to on Instagram, that sort of thing, reach out, see if they're going to sort of meet up before. I suppose that's how all of us met, wasn't it? We spoke to each other, met at shows, and sort of gone from there. Take your time, enjoy it. You're literally in a room full of people that are as like-minded as you, whether that's a mixed show that's got sport and TCG there, or a sports show or a TCG show. Effectively, we're all collectors. A lot of us have dabbled in both, whether that was Pokemon initially, and now we're just doing sport, or whether we're doing both. As quite a few of us are now, especially with the likes of the Disney and the Lorcana that's out there. There's a lot more sort of cross collectors, as we can call it. So yeah, enjoy yourself, take your time. Remember, it's a full day. Don't spend all your money after you've been in there for 10 minutes because it might tarnish that experience. So yeah, take your time, look around, talk to people, talk to the vendors. Because at the end of the day, we all want everyone to enjoy it. The more people there is in the hobby, the more of us there is to talk to, the bigger these shows can be, the bigger names and the bigger things that can happen at them. So yeah, just go along, enjoy it. And if you're not sure at any point, or you're nervous about because you're going there, drop us a message. Either me or Ben or one of us helpers will come out, meet you out, and do a lap with you or whatever you want. We're more than happy to do that.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And obviously the announcement's now live as well about all the new products, such as the mats, the backdrops, and obviously the mag stickers as well. But what is the best place? Obviously, we say this every week anyway, but it actually saves my vocal cords for about 5 seconds. But what is the best place to find you guys at, and obviously to make the purchases on the orders as well?
So you'll find it in below in the description. Isn't that right, Ron? Yeah, there we go. But yeah, www.thirddown.co.uk. Or Third Down Displays on Instagram. Feel free to drop us a message if you're not sure what sort of thing you should be looking at, what you're after. But yeah, it's all available on there.
I was saying as well, when you're going over there, if you do want to place an order, do make sure you use TTP10 because that'll give you 10% off that first order as well, and every other order concerning over that to get the stuff for a bit cheaper. And I just want your view on this, Chris, that obviously we run the podcast, we have TTP10. But could you imagine that one of the co-hosts hasn't actually used the code? I think it's a bit poor, isn't it?
It is very poor, but we'll put him to the test. We'll allow him to run a giveaway for a custom stand, a brake mat, backboards and mag stickers. He can announce the winner himself next week on the 100th show. And then he can use his own code himself.
Right, so I think it's like a plan. It's a good deal.
There's no pressure here, but this is all on H. So everyone listening along and putting all the giveaway stuff be announced. H, this is your crowning moment. This is it. It's all been building up to this for the next 7 days, building up to episode 100. Are you feeling the pressure now, my friend?
I'm shaking already, mate. I can't lie. I'm nervous already. I don't get nervous.
This is your graduation. This is like the dissertation at university.
Yeah, usually you have like what 6 months to plan that. I've been given 7 days.
Yeah, but they always wait until the last 7 days.
I mean, that is true. Yeah,
we're just skipping the 6 months before and enjoy.
The 6 months worth of procrastinating, and that's getting to the last 7 months of actual crucial work.
We did speak about it, to be fair, on the last time we were on, but you were like on holiday or something.
Yeah.
Which one was that? I can't remember which time that was. That's the problem now, isn't it? See, look, you've mentioned the word holiday. Now he's going to have to go and book one. So if H isn't here for episode 100 or 101, you know why? He's booked a nice little vacation.
No, I have got one next month, so I might listen.
It's always.
Is there a card show in Prague? If there is, I'm going.
If not, make one. That'd be quite a fun one to go.
I think I'll just set up a stall in the middle of somewhere. All right.
Here's all my slab mags.
Yeah, so yeah. Set up a little card slab mag stand.
We just had a restock, mate. There's loads for you to get at.
Oh, I knew that was coming as well.
Look.
TTP10.
I was going to say, you actually normally as well haven't had a pickup to put in it, but there is a new pickup for you, H, as well.
Yeah, Chris, have you got blue slab mags?
Yeah. Aqua and the normal blue.
I think one has got to go very nicely with that.
Oh, definitely.
There we go.
The newest pickup, the blue flood.
And you know, H, you know what you got to do? Use TTP10 for 10% off that slag mag because you don't use it ever. Ah,
that is smart.
Yeah,
you're thinking that, H?
That is nice. That Card Madness card is sick as well.
Yeah, nice out there, all numbered as well. So if all you have to do is go over to the top stall, fill in a questionnaire, and you got one of the cards. So everyone who filled it in got a card. So yeah, numbered to 700 short print.
SSP.
SSP. But no, it was a really nice touch. Was that so? There's sort of the different things that you sort of saw over there, the different bits that people put in. But yeah, it's looks nice in the.
Yeah, because I think there was one at Cardvention as well. I think me and Harry didn't realise that, and when we left and we saw in someone's story that there was like a Cardvention card, we were fuming. We're like, hang on, have we completely missed this or something? So, but no, that's I've liked the blue and the red slab mag as well. That's nice.
It's just pitching itself like no, I mean, it's just a perfect.
I don't need any persuading though, Ron. That's the thing.
Yeah, just more than one.
I don't need persuading.
Just more than one next time. We'll set a goal of like 3. We got the 1 ticked off, and now we can slowly get the ball rolling. We'll see what other PC cards he's got, and then he'll be like, "Oh, you know what? That one could work as well." Look at him. He's already thinking. I can see in his face. He's already thinking about what other ones he could put in there. He's thinking, "Oh, that dual Ben White and Rams, that could look good in a red one."
It's already in one.
Oh, see, there we go. It's
already in a red one.
So maybe that Odegaard is the only card not in a slab bag. That's probably the way to phrase it. But that's a story for another day. But
I think it is, to be fair.
The last thing I've got to say to you guys, obviously being a big NFL fan, obviously the Final Four is now decided in the playoffs leading up to the Super Bowl. And obviously it is the Taylor Swift Super Bowl. Everyone knows this. It's not NFL anymore. It's Taylor Swift. So who's going to be winning the Super Bowl in Las Vegas the same weekend as the London Card Show?
I want to see Jason Kelce in that box again with his shirt off, with his man bod out, living his best life.
Beer in one hand.
It's going to be one hell of a game for them to overcome the Ravens next week. You'd say the Ravens are probably sitting there quite comfortable favourites at the minute, but yeah, never say never. That Lions defense is going to put up a strong fight against the Niners. You're probably going to get two close games this weekend, and all to play for. And I think he did well then, not picking a side.
Yeah, he's just gone neutral. He hasn't said anyone. He hasn't mentioned anything or anyone. So you're not wrong, but you're not picked the winner.
Not right.
I'll find out. I'll get a personal one at the Super. Well, basically, I'll ask you the day after the Super Bowl who you think won, then you can actually get it spot on.
No, I'll go out there. I'd fancy the Ravens to do it all. I'd fancy the Ravens, but I'd also like to see the Chiefs win it. But hey ho.
Yeah, I think, as I say, I think Lamar is going to do it as well. But like I say, Chris, thank you ever so much yet again for joining us on another episode, and we look forward to seeing you wherever it is around the country at a card show. And obviously that big announcement is live now on Third Down Display. So go over to the Instagram, check it out, and then obviously head over to the website as well. But thank you so much for joining us on episode 99.
Anytime, boys, anytime.
And obviously, H, thank you as well for joining every episode in 2024. And obviously, H, it is the 100th special next week. So it should be a good one next week as well.
Yeah, it's come around very quickly. I think, episode 100 already started 2024. So as much as I've got 7 days to plan a giveaway, I've also got 7 days to plan episode 100. So it's almost like 2 dissertations in one, I think. But no, yeah, massively excited for obviously the big episode 100 next week. So yeah, it's going to be a good one, that's for sure.
Like I say, obviously this does come out at 7 p.m. on the Tuesday. Do look at our Instagram page as well for the information on the giveaway, and that will be announced in the special next Tuesday, episode 100. But until then, hope everyone out there is staying safe, doing well, buying, selling, trading, and all that good jazz. And most importantly, happy hobbying, and good night.